Good morning, students. In the previous class, we discussed the functions of money. The four functions of money, we had detailed discussions on those four functions: medium of exchange, store of value, and standard of deferred payment, and all these functions we discussed in the previous class. So, in this class, we are moving from money to the banking system. So, we are trying to understand how the banking system in a particular country is working. So, first we need to understand what is central bank. Central bank in a particular country is head of all the banks in that particular economic system. For example, in India, you have State Bank of India, Canara Bank, and then so many other banks, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, and then so many other private banks, and then government banks, and all these things. So, this is what we have come across in our in our daily life. I mean, different banks and all that present in our country. Now, the central bank is head of all these individual banks. Head of all the individual banks means the central bank will govern all these public sector or private sector banks. The guidelines that are followed by this the private and public sector banks are actually given by the central bank, and the central bank will dictate what to be followed and what not to be followed by these individual banks. So it is called as head of all the individual banks in a particular country. And central bank is basically a government bank. On behalf of the government, the central bank is governing the individual banks in the country. Basically, it is governing the banking system within a country. So that is what is central bank, and the central bank is being called by different names in different countries. In India, this is known as Reserve Bank of India. In US, this is known as Federal Reserve Bank. Federal Reserve. If you say Federal Reserve, it basically means the central bank in the US. So this central bank in any country is performing some functions. There are several functions that are performed by the central bank. We are mainly looking at the most important functions performed by the central bank in a particular country. So the first function is this. The central bank is basically a government's bank. What is government's bank? Of course, it is owned by the government, and on behalf of the government, central bank is governing the banking system in an economy and all that. But then when we say government's bank, we do not mean all these things. What we basically mean is that just like any other person, the government also is receiving many deposits, and it is also making payments and all that. For example, there are many government employees in a particular country, central bank employees and state government employees and all that. So basically, to these government employees, the government has to give salaries and all that. So that's basically a payment made by the government. Likewise, the government will make payment in different cases. Similarly, the government will also receive deposits, and it will also receive money. For example, you are taking driving license, and you are making that you are basically paying a particular amount as fees for applying for this driving license and all that. So this is this is money that is going to the government. So the government is receiving money and making payments and all that. So just like a normal person, just like just like any other person, all these payments and then receipts are actually done through the central bank. Indian government is receiving many receipts. Indian government is also making many payments on a daily basis, monthly basis, on an yearly basis, and all that. So all these payments and receipts are done through the central bank. So that is the reason it is called as government's bank. Sometimes the government may also have to borrow money. For example, during this pandemic time, government's revenue was less because most of the country was under lockdown and all that. So companies were closed and offices were closed and all that, and then many people lost their jobs, and then people were without income and all that. So the tax collection in the country was very less, so therefore the government revenue was very less. On the other hand, the government also had to spend so much on healthcare and then so many other essential things during the pandemic time, like it had to help the needy people and all that. So on the one hand, the government had so much expenditure, on the other hand, the government's revenue was less. So in that situation, the government had to borrow money. So when government is borrowing money, it is the central bank on behalf of the government will borrow money either from the public or from the other governments or the other international agencies. So it is the face of the government. It is the face of the central government and the state governments. So on behalf of the government, the central bank is borrowing money from the public. The government also borrows money from the public by issuing bonds. A bond is nothing but a certificate which says that okay, this person has lent this much money to the government, and this person will receive this money after maybe 1 year or 2 years with this much interest rate and all that. So it is just a certificate, bond. By issuing bonds, the government is borrowing money, and on behalf of the government, it is the central bank which is borrowing money from the public or from the international agencies or from other governments. So it is functioning as a face of the government. So it is called as government's bank. The next function performed by the central bank is this, banker's bank. It is called as banker's bank. Why it is called as banker's bank? As I said in the beginning, you have many banks in an economy or in a country. So all these banks will have different priorities and all that. But then there are certain guidelines that should be followed by all these banks, and there are rules that should be followed by these banks. So who will set the rules and who is actually giving all these guidelines? It is the central bank. So the central bank is governing the banking system. Basically, it is governing all the individual banks in an economy. That is the reason it is called as banker's bank. Basically, head of all the banks. The next function performed by the central bank is this, issuing notes and money. It is the central bank which is authorized in any country to print currency and mint coins. Currencies are printed, coins are minted. So whenever a currency is printed in a particular country, it is the central bank which is printing the currency and it is minting coins in a particular country. So that is another important function performed by the central bank. It is issuing notes and money. The next function performed by the central bank is implementing monetary policy. What is monetary policy? It is a policy which is related to the money supply in an economy. What is money supply? Money supply is nothing but the total available money in an economy. Okay, so you always have to monitor the money supply in an economy. Too much money supply in an economy will create problems, like when there is too much money available in an economy, it will lead to increase in the prices of different products and all the different goods and services. When people have so much money in their hand, what will happen? They will start spending, and when people are spending so much, naturally the prices of most of the products will increase, and this will lead to inflation in an economy. Inflation means increase in the price level in the economy. So this is happening because of too much money supply in an economy. So too much money supply is not good for an economy, and too little money also is not good for an economy. So you should have adequate amount of money available in a particular country. So that adequate amount of money depends upon many factors. I mean, the economic situation of the country, and the aggregate demand of the country, and all these things will indicate what is the appropriate money, what is the appropriate money that should be available in a country. So too little money is also not good. um, so too little money means people do not have sufficient money, so which means most of the products that are produced in a country will not be sold. There will be many unsold products, and when there are many unsold products, companies will cut down the production. When companies are cutting down their production, it will lead to unemployment, because when companies are cutting down their production, they will fire the workers which are in excess amount, which are in excess number. So when this is happening across the country, this will lead to unemployment problem. So too little money and too much money in an economy is not good for the country. And so there should be the adequate amount of money should be maintained in a particular country. So who will monitor the money supply, and who will take measures when there is too much money supply in an economy and when there is too little money supply in the economy? It is the central bank which will closely monitor the total money supply in an economy, and it will identify if there is too much money, or too much money supply in an economy, or too little money supply in an economy. Accordingly, it will take measures. Okay, so basically what we understand is that it is a central bank which is implementing monetary policy. When there is too much money, the government will increase the interest rate. You know what is interest rate? It is the payment that you have to make for the money that you have borrowed. For example, if you have taken a loan of 1 lakh, over and above this 1 lakh, you have to pay some money. So that is what is called as interest rate. That interest rate is usually expressed in percentage: 6% interest rate, 8% interest rate, and all that. So using interest rate, the government can control the money supply. When in the interest rate is increased, people will not keep money in their hand. Instead, they will put their money in bank deposit, because when they put their money in the bank deposit, it will earn interest rate. Okay, the interest rate is also given for the money that you have deposited in the bank accounts. On the one hand, for those people who are saving money, the interest rate is given. For those who are borrowing money also, the interest rate will be charged. So for borrowers as well as savers, the interest rate is applicable. So when the interest rate is higher, many people will put their money in the bank accounts, because that money is earning good returns now. It is giving you good interest rate. So if you put 100 rupees, and if the interest rate is good enough, you will earn decent amount on that 100 rupees. So instead of keeping your money idle, you will put your money in the bank account. So when most of the people put their money in the bank accounts, because of higher interest rate, the excess money will be controlled. And the opposite will happen when there is too little money in the economy. The interest rate in that situation will be reduced, and people don't feel like keeping their money in the bank accounts, because it is earning less interest. So instead, they will keep their money in their hand, and they will start spending. and when they start spending, there is enough money which is being circulated in the economy, and the problem of shortage of money is resolved this way. So basically it is the interest rate which is used to control the money supply. Now, this is what is monetary policy. Monetary policy is basically policy related to money supply. Okay, and interest rate is the main tool that we are using to control the money supply. We are using means it is a central bank which will use interest rate to control money supply. Um, so it is the central bank which will implement this monetary policy. It is not the government. On behalf of the government, it is the central bank which will closely monitor the money supply, and accordingly it will change the interest rate and will implement the monetary policy. The next function performed by the central bank is lender of last resort. What is lender of last resort? When banks are in trouble, for example, HDFC Bank is in trouble, so that bank is not able to pay the money that is deposited by the people in the bank. For example, let's say people have deposited 1,000 crores in HDFC Bank, and maybe they lose confidence in the performance of HDFC Bank, and they sense that the bank might collapse. And then in that situation, everybody will be panicked, and then everybody will go to the bank and will ask for their deposits. When everybody is approaching the bank for deposits, the bank will be in a very critical situation, because any bank will not keep all the money deposited by the people. It receives the money deposited by the people, and it lends that money to different people, to the companies, to the individuals, and then on different things it will lend money. So on the one hand, you are receiving money from the people in the form of deposits. On the other hand, you are lending this money to people who are in need, to the businesses and to the individuals and all that. But then when everybody is coming to receive their deposit, the banks will be in trouble, and that situation is called as defaulting. In the sense, you are not able to return the deposits by return the deposits made by the people. So in that situation, in this situation of defaulting, in this critical situation, it is the central bank which will come to rescue the bank which is in trouble. That is the reason it is called as lender of last resort. In the sense, for any bank, central bank is the last point to ask for help. So any such bank which is in trouble will approach the central bank, and the central bank will come and lend money to the individual bank, and this individual bank will give deposits to the individual people who put their money in the bank, and that way the situation will be resolved. If there is no central bank, these individual banks will default, and then everybody will be in trouble. People, um, when people don't receive their deposits, I mean, they will react, right? They will react, and then this will panic uh, the other people who have put their money in the other banks and all that. So then this will trigger chain reactions in the entire economy, and the entire banking system in an economy will be in trouble. So in order to avoid that, the central bank will rescue those banks which are in trouble. I mean, it will just lend the money which is required by the individual banks and all that. So that is the reason it is called as lender of last resort. The next function performed by the central bank is regulation of banking system. So this, I think I have explained in the beginning. So any guidelines that should be followed by the banking system, and any rules uh, that should be followed by the banking system, are created by the central bank. So it is the central bank which is coming up with all these guidelines and rules and regulations and all that, and then those rules and regulations should be followed by the banking system. by all the banks in an economy. So these are the functions performed by the central bank, and then the central bank is playing a very very important role in an economy. So it is acting like government's bank, it is acting like the face of a government, and it is also called as bankers bank, and it is issuing notes, coins and money and all that. It implements monetary policy, closely monitoring the money supply, and it is implementing the monetary policy. It is also um, acting like a lender of last resort. When a particular bank is in trouble, the central bank will lend money to the banks which are in trouble and will rescue such banks in order to avoid panic, in order to avoid any panic situation in a country. And the last thing is regulation of banking system. It is the central bank which is governing and regulating the banking system. Banking system means all the banks in the economy. So these are the functions of central bank, and with this note I'll conclude the discussion, and I'll in the next class I will be discussing the the other the commercial banks, how commercial banks are functioning and all that, and how they are important in an economy and all that. So we'll discuss those things in the next class. Take care students, bye bye.